This happened some time ago in the early 2000s. It's not made up, and I really experienced these events, even if they sound crazy. My parents were in a rough patch and my dad had moved out of the house. I was in high school at the time. It started out one night when my mom and I were watching TV. It sounded like scratching noises or heavy dragging noises in the attic. We immediately assumed raccoons. I don't remember the timeline exactly, but we kept hearing these noises. And each time, maybe a few nights later or a week later, the noise slowly crossed from one end of the attic all the way to the other end of the house. My mom did have a company come check for animals, but they didn't find any. Then the real scary stuff started happening. I was asleep one night and woke up to a figure next to my bed. My best description is a tall shadow person. I slowly grabbed my blanket and covered myself up with just a peephole to watch it. It was entirely black, even darker than the dark room around it, and it looked like the darkness was slowly steaming off of it. I was both amazed and terrified. I watched it for what felt like hours until it slowly backed out of my room. I was afraid to leave my bed. Eventually I fell asleep. The next morning at breakfast, my mom said she saw someone standing at the foot of her bed, and then I told her what I had seen. There was a heaviness in the house after that. Other times I remember waking up at night and hearing voices and whispering. Sometimes I could hear music playing like it was an old theater or something. When I peeked outside my room, the noises would cease. One night, the dresser drawing at the foot of my bed slammed open and shut. Another night, Mom started screaming in the middle of the night, and I grabbed my baseball bat and ran into her room. Just outside of her bedroom door was a chair, and I swear I saw this shadow figure sitting in it as I ran into her room. She told me someone had laid down on the bed next to her. As the events progressively got more frightening, we were afraid to stay in the house at night. I would sleep with all the lights on, if I could sleep at all. We started spending the night in a hotel. Even in the daytime, you would hear things like someone calling your name. I can't remember how long the haunting lasted. I'm guessing at least 3 to 4 months had passed, and my mother was tired of being afraid in her own house. So she had the house blessed. Sometime in the next few days, my mom was heating up a cup of water for tea in the microwave, and it exploded in the microwave. I asked her how long she had put it in the microwave. When suddenly these loud scratching sounds ran down the surrounding walls, a dark mist filled the house, the voices and whispers all around us. My mother and I grabbed each other's arms in horror as all these sounds were happening simultaneously, and then this very deep, unnatural voice began talking over all the other noise. It was deep and unnatural, like it was some sort of language that I've never heard before. As my mother and I stood there, we looked down the hall toward the voice. Something was there like a horror movie. It was quadrupedal, made of the darkness, like drawing with a Sharpie in the air. It had what looked like several rows of spins down its back, and then my mother started to pray, and so did I. The creature slowly backed down the hall and into a bedroom, and slowly all the noises and voices faded away. The mist or haze seemed to follow it down the hallway until everything returned to normal. We never saw or experienced anything again in that house. If anyone was curious, yes, when friends came over, they would have experiences as well. I've had other experiences since then, but nothing like back then. Check out these other stories. Thank you for watching. Take care.